Yeah, you seeing it right. I get non-believers all the time that come to my live stream and get offended at this. Can I tell you something? This ain't for you, so don't get offended at it. I see non-believers coming in to feel like they're about to defend women saying, don't do that. But there's no Christian women that care about this. You not defending them. They're fine with this. I know you want to feel like a hero because you've convinced that defending abortion is this awesome thing you do. So you also want to defend women's rights as men try to take them from them. We're not taking any rights from our Christian women. True women of God understand the importance of this structure because we know God knows what he's doing. And let me go ahead and say this. A man of God does not view a woman as less than him. This isn't about them being less than us. This is called structure. You see, I'm responsible for my wife, not because I'm over her in some superior, I'm better than you way. No, it's that when God returns, he's going to have questions for me if our family is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. When God walked into the garden, he didn't look for Eve. He looked for Adam. Men are commanded to lead our families and keep them safe and provide for them. And if that doesn't happen, that's on me. So therefore, I must take that leadership role. And I'll tell you this right now, husbands, if you're not doing your marriage like this, you'll never love your wife the way that she needs to be loved. Because when you look at another human being and say, I will give my all for you, I will put you before me, and I will do everything to make sure that you're okay at all times, you learn to love them in ways you can never imagine. Yeah, my wife submits to me, but I'm called to love her the way Christ loved the church. And Christ died for the church, if you didn't know. And he did that while we were in rebellion of him. So when you see this, don't come over here with what offends you, because this ain't for you. This is for a godly marriage. Don't try to input what you would do in your marriage. Do what you want to do. But as for me and my household, we serve the Lord. And matter of fact, if you can't even define what a woman is, you don't get to tell me how to do our structure in our house. It's my job to protect my family, lead my family, and provide for my family. And although my wife is smarter than me, stronger than me, just an incredible human being, it is my job to take care of her. And I wish more men started understanding that, because the lack of fathers in households is ruining our future. Because the lack of men stepping up to handle their responsibilities is destroying our country. Husbands, lead your families. Don't let the world try to say that you being a father and a leader is toxic. I'd rather stand with God and be judged by the world than stand with the world and be judged by God. Y'all go in peace. That would be God's original plan. Amen, my brother. And because you said that comment, I wanted to take a moment to point something out. I want to show you guys how in the fall of mankind, Satan tried to disrupt this. You see, when God created, he created man and then woman, and then he gave dominion to all the beasts in the land to the man and woman. And then God gave a decree. He gave a command to Adam. And it's Adam's responsibility to make sure that his wife knows the command. But in the fall, the beast, also known as the serpent, convinced the wife to disobey God, who then convinced the husband to disobey God. So God created, and it went God, man, woman, beast. And in the fall, it went beast, woman, man, God. From day one, Satan's goal was to affect the order that God had created. And over the course of the next several thousand years, Satan has constantly attacked this structure. No-fault divorces, glorifying single motherhood, attacking masculinity. And if you go to Genesis 3 and you read the curses that are given to the serpent, to the man, and to the woman, one of the curses for the woman is that she would strive for his authority and never be able to obtain it. And ironically, in today's generation, Satan again is trying to tell women that they deserve to have this authority that God gave them, trying to convince people that this is wrong unless the wife is next to the husband. God created an order, and Satan wants to pervert it. Because here's the truth. Satan can't create anything, but he can pervert what God has created. And that's all Satan does, is try to pervert what God already created. He tries to do it with the structure of the family. He tries to do it with gender and sexuality. He perverts everything. That's why there's music that glorifies murder and sex and drugs. So you're either following the decreed order of God or a perversion. It's up to you to ask yourself, which one would you rather serve? I wish I could get mine to see this. They see submit and they think it's about abuse or something, and there are people who interpret it that way. I absolutely know, and I talk to a lot of women who are scared of that word submit because of terrible men that have abused it in the past. So for all the Christian women hearing this, I'm sorry. Submission has never been about abuse or power or superiority. In fact, a man of God never has to tell his wife to submit. Just like a true leader never has to tell an employee to submit. You see, when a man of God comes into a woman's life, she recognizes it and she will submit naturally because he will submit to her and he will serve her. If a man comes into your life and says, I'm going to be here for you, I'm going to be dependable, reliable, trustworthy, and honest. I will not hold grudges. I will not lead you astray, and I will not let my emotions change the way I treat you. If a man comes in and does that, says that, and actually lives that way, she'll naturally submit to him. Submission is not about you're the boss, you're in charge. Submission is saying, I'm going to trust you, and when you say we need to go left, I'm going to go left because I trust you. You see, it's about trusting that this person has their best interest for you. And the way a biblical marriage works is that I put my 100% into my wife and don't worry about myself. And she puts her 100% into me and doesn't worry about herself. That way, I'm fully committed to making sure she's okay. She's fully committed to making sure I'm okay. And therefore, we are both okay. Now, does that mean my wife doesn't get a voice? No, that's not at all true. I like to use a military analogy here. In the military, you have an E4 and an E5. Both are non-commissioned officers. Both hold a certain level of rank in the military. The E4s and the E5s can come together and have a discussion. How do we want to go ahead and do this? How do we want to approach the situation? But sometimes when an agreement cannot be made, the E5 has the power to say, well, this is what we're doing, and the E4 submits. I'll give an example of this in my marriage. When I first met my wife, I joined her going to her church. Later down the road, something happened to make me question if this is the church that my family needs to be going to. Going back and forth with the pastor, I realized that this may not be where I should have my family. My wife came to me and said, whatever you decide, I will follow. She didn't care about why I'm choosing what I choose. She didn't care about my reasoning in it. When it came to the spiritual leadership of our family, she let me know, whatever your decision is, I trust you. And she doesn't do that blindly. She does it because she sees me pursuing God every day of my life. She knows all my decisions are for the best of our family. So she submits.